All right, so there's been a big debate. A lot of people asking me 2-1 versus 5-1 for our default setting. Why are we not in the 5-1? So let's talk about this a little bit because this is pretty important. If you're a premium subscriber, you're going to get access to the major trend tool. And if you go to the bottom menu here, you'll see it right here. And when you click on that, that will take you to the major trend. And the major trends tool, the purpose of the major trend is to keep us on the right side of the market, whether it's a bear or a bull market. And so to do that, right here, it's telling us the current trend is bullish, so we're in a bull market. All right, so the way that we monitor bear and bull periods is we use a 6-month return, and I use the two bull default settings, 2-1 and 5-1. And for the bear market, it's represented by the bear 2-0 setting. And these are the 6-month returns as of today. So you can see that in a 6-month return for 2-1 is 124, 6 months for 5-1 is 308%. And so you can see we're very much in a bull market and we're not in a bear at all. But the major trend, we have a chart here, right over here, and this will go day by day, and you could actually use this to see how the market is changing and to see when the bull or bear market is coming. Now over here, since we started December 5th, 2008, we were in a bear market. If you remember, that was the big housing crash, 2008. Everything got wiped out. And since we need a 6-month return, our table here starts on 6/16, which is 6 months later. Okay, so that's why we start on this date, because our ETFs were not available until late in 2008. And then since then, I'm going to show you how the market changes and how we came up with these over here. So we were in a bear market till 2011, and from 2011 to 2015 was a bull market, and we used bull 2-1 as the default for those 4 years. Then we went into a bear market for about half a year, and then from mid-2016 to mid-2020, which was another 4 years, right? We use the default setting 5-1, so we have 2-1 and 5-1. So one worked up here, one worked over here. Now we're in October 6th. We have our next bull market. Is it going to be 2-1 or 5-1? A lot of people are discussing this, and I'm going to show you how the system chooses the default setting between 2-1 and 5-1 and what's going on. So you can actually set this up yourself if you're not a premium subscriber. Now, to find out if you're a premium subscriber, you can go to your profile and it'll tell you which plan that you have, and you will have this. But if you're not a premium subscriber, you could actually do the 6-month returns of these 3 settings each day and put it in your Excel spreadsheet, and you'd have the same thing as I have right here. But just to give you an idea. Now remember, we started off in a bear market, so over here we're in a bear market, and you can see that the bear setting is blowing away the 2 bull settings. So that just shows you we're in a bear market. And you can see now, let me move up the screen a little bit so we can get more in here. Now you can see that this setting is now up to 429%, 450. It's up to 650% in just 6 months. That's what the gain was. That was a very powerful bear market back then. So what we're looking for, and as you see, the bear market's getting stronger because all the bull settings have now turned red. And so what we're looking for is when the bear here turns red and the bulls are green, then that signifies that we are in a bull market. But the system will give us a warning before we get there. So as we scroll down, you're going to see that the bear setting is just dominating every 6 months. Finally, in 2011, we start to see the bull market take off. Now the 5-1 starts showing a gain. Now the 2-1 shows a gain. Now all 3 are showing a gain. So when you start to see all 3 either green or red, that's a signal we're about to switch to the opposite market. So since we were in a bear, that means a bull market is coming. We're going to be switching to the bull setting, and sure enough, here it is. Notice how the bear setting just went to red. and it just started getting worse and worse. So what happens is we count 9 days. We want it to stay in the red for 9 days. That's almost 2 full trading weeks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's March 15th is now officially a bull market. And you see that over here on this other table, March 15th, we turn bull. And so we choose the setting based on which one is doing the most popular. So on the 15th, 2-1 was at 23% and 5-1 was at 2.8. So 2-1 becomes our default setting. All right, now we're going to stay in that 2-1 until it turns red and the bear settings turn green over a period of 9 days. Very, very simple, okay? So let's watch this. As we move out, the 2-1's doing good. And as you see now, the 2-1's getting 112% return for 6 months, 144%, and it's just moving up, 156%, 210, 283%. So we saw the bear go up to 600%. Now we see 2-1 going up to 283%. And as you see now, 5-1 has joined the party, and both of the bull settings. Now we're in a full bull market. It's going very strong. And then all of a sudden we got a few days here where none of them are winning, and all of a sudden 2-1 is out of the picture and 5-1 is going. But we don't switch to the bear yet, because remember, even though 2-1's in the red, the bear has to be in the green, and it's not. So we stay with our 2-1 and we keep going. And then finally right here, the bear setting turns green, and we need 9 days, so we skip those two, and right here we got a 9-day streak, so we count 9 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So December 17th, 2015, we're going back to a bear, and you see that right over here. December 17th, 2015. So now we're trading, we're not trading the bear 2-0 trading. When we're in a bear market, we trade bear 3-1, but we use the bear 2-0 to determine the direction of the market. And sure enough, look at this. It's starting to take off now, up 64%. So the bear market is taking off, and now it seems to peter out again, and once again everything's in red, another possible switch coming, and sure enough we do have a switch right here. So now we have to count, and there's no 9 days in a row here, but there is 9 days in a row under the 2-1. So we count 9 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That puts us on 7/20/2016. But now we need to decide which setting is going to be the default. And you see 5-1 is here at 30.6, higher. So that becomes our default. Now we follow the 5-1 out. Not enough days, 5-1 still hanging in there. And then we come to here. Now you can see all of the bull settings died out, and the bear setting is doing fantastic. So right here is where we left off. We count 9 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That puts us on March 10th. Right over here, March 10th is bearish. So again, now we go back into the bearish setting, and we follow this bearish setting. Now look, it's up to 105%. You see, had the major trend kept us in the bullish settings, we would have lost 76, but now we're making 92. So you see, that's the purpose of the major trend, is to keep us in the bullish or bearish setting. And as we go out, we can see this bearish trend is still continuing. It's starting to get weak, and now the 2-1 is taking off right here. And then right here it dies. You see, the bear setting dies, and the 2-1 is all in the green. So we count 9 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's October 6th. Again, right here, it's a bullish. So on October 6th, we now compare the two settings. Look at 2-1. It has a bigger return than 5-1. So 2-1 becomes our default setting. Now, a lot of you asking, well, why come we're not using that 5-1? Well, that's why, because the rules say whichever one's performing better. And as we look, there's not much of a difference, but 2-1 continues to perform better than 5-1. Starts to make a little break higher right here, and then 5-1 starts to go down. 2-1's hanging in there. 2-1's up to 120% now, while 5-1's down to 43%. And then it starts to cool off. Now 2-1's up to 191, and here comes 5-1 now. It's like a horse race. It's up to 91%. Okay, and then we move up, and now we start to see the 2-1 cool off, and the 5-1 starting to take off. And then right about here on January 6th is where they were pretty close in here is where it really took over. So now 5-1 is exploding since January 6th, and which is like 1 month ago. And then from there we come on down and we see that today 5-1 is up 308%, while the 2-1 is up 124. These are both fantastic 6-month returns. But to get back to our original question is, why are we not in this 5-1? Well, look at this 5-1. It's a 308% return. If you go back in its history, we did see a 600% gain in here somewhere, right in here for the bear setting at one time. Remember, we saw a 200% gain at one time for the 2-1 over here in the middle. We had a 200% gain, but nowhere 155, 188, 191. So 259, 283%. And you see that every time it hits these big gains around 300, along with 6, this one's around 3, look at, they start to go down, 170, 90%, 70%, 60%, 45%. So they go down, 24%, 18, 17. So they cool off, and now they take off again. So they go through this phase of cool. It's hard to sustain a return of 300% every 6 months. And if you go back and look through the 5-1 setting, you will see it has never ever had in 12 years a return of 300%. So this is the first time in history. So what this is telling me is we could be going on to something bigger. Maybe it'll go to 600 like that bear did that one time. But more than likely, this one's probably going to cool off. So we're going to see the 5-1 start to go down and come back down to where the 2-1 is. So, or the 2-1 will rise up to the 5-1. So it's kind of a tough choice. That's why I said to everybody about a month ago, back when it was on January 6th, about a month ago, I said maybe you guys should be trading both. All right, so anyway, that is why we are where we are today. The system picked 2-1. Yes, 5-1's been doing good. It doesn't, like I say, this has never happened before, a 308% return on 5-1 for 6 months. So for, it's hard to judge what may happen in the future. There's no precedence on this. But what I can tell you is whenever these things hit big 6-month returns, they cool down and they'll go back down, and then they'll take off again. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to lose money going forward. It just means the date 6 months ago will fall off one end while we're adding more to this end. So it's quite possible we could still be going up, and yet this go down because 6 months ago it rose faster than it's rising today. Okay, so I hope that helps explain this a little more. I'm sorry this was a little bit lengthy, but if you really want to get into the dirt, as a subscriber, you really don't need to know all this. We handle it for you. But if you do have the premium subscription, it's kind of nice to be able to go over here and you can actually monitor the markets and see how it's going and even get prepared for when a bear or a bull market comes. All right, so I hope that all helps you with the major trend, and we'll see you again in my next video.